The Rise of Skywalker has finally reached that billion-dollar benchmark. So is it a success or is it a failure? Because there's a lot of spin on this movie. In my opinion, it's basically a medium. Because $1 billion, while good, in the larger context of like this franchise and where I think this movie should be compared to other Star Wars movies, it's not really doing as spectacularly great as it maybe should have. Now, I'll say on the good side, reaching $1 billion means this movie did solid. I mean, it reflects really good, I think, on J.J. Abrams, or better on him, because he's getting a lot of hate from people who didn't like the movie or saw faults with it. I saw some faults with it, but I thought he did the best he could, given the fact that Rian Johnson, his predecessor with The Last Jedi, painted him into a corner, and Kathleen Kennedy overall, as managing the whole trilogy and The Rise of Skywalker and other things, I don't think she cares about Star Wars or likes it. You know, she's not someone who grew up with Star Wars and is really passionate about it. And neither was Bob Iger, I don't think. So, you know, of all the people you could blame, I actually blame J.J. Abrams the least. Because I think J.J. Abrams does like sci-fi entertainment and he does try to please the fans. I don't think Rian Johnson cares about pleasing fans. And I don't think Kathleen Kennedy or Bob Iger really cared about pleasing Star Wars fans, old school, traditional Star Wars fans with this trilogy. But again, J.J. Abrams can say that despite all the toxicity and hate that this franchise is getting, his movie that everybody was like thinking that a lot of people thought might fail or underperform did make $1 billion, and it's not losing Disney any money. I don't think. I know there's rumors that they reshot like a lot of this movie, so I don't know how much all that cost. But anyways, it got $1 billion, and since J.J. Abrams is leaving for Warner Brothers, he can leave on a high note, or at least a note that's not as low as it would have been if this movie failed to reach $1 billion. And it may, unfortunately, reflect okay or nicely on Kathleen Kennedy, because, you know, a lot of people were expecting, well, hoping, really is the better word, this movie to fail. It didn't. It didn't do, I think, spectacularly great, given what this movie is and where it fits in the Star Wars universe. But it reached that $1 billion, so I don't know. Maybe Kathleen Kennedy might actually stick around beyond when her contract ends in 2021. Ooh, I know. I'm one of the people hoping Kathleen Kennedy leaves, but who knows? Now, why might $1 billion in The Rise of Skywalker's case not be that impressive? Well, for one thing, it's the law of diminishing returns, right? Every major like trilogy movie has made less money than the previous one that came before it in the Disney sequel trilogy under Kathleen Kennedy's watch. The Force Awakens made $2 billion. The Last Jedi made like 1.3 or 1.5. This movie, The Rise of Skywalker, will probably just make 1.1, right? So even though all those movies made truckloads of money, since each one made less money than the one that came before it, you know, there's a decrease, a shrinkage in the audience, right? That means that this franchise is hemorrhaging viewers. Audience excitement is going down. Coupled with the fact that there was research saying that little kids these days aren't as into Star Wars as little kids of the past were. And all the controversy and the division in the fan base, and the fact that most directors who work with Kathleen Kennedy either run away screaming or are fired and kicked out the door. I do think that spells some problems for the way she's managed this franchise. You know, the Star Wars movie audience isn't growing, it's shrinking. And there's a lot of drama and a lot of, you know, unhappy fans. There are some fans who are happy, a lot who are happy, I mean, but there are a lot, equally as many, if not more, who feel disappointed with the way these movies have turned out under her watch. So I think that, you know, the decreasing box office over time, the decrease in fan interest, the drama, and the controversy, you know, all these fan bases fighting with each other, the two fan bases, like the Fandom Menace and everybody else, fighting over this franchise. I do think that spells for some problems. And a movie like The Rise of Skywalker that's supposed to be the culmination of 42 years worth of movies, not just this sequel trilogy, but, you know, everything that came before, the prequels, the original trilogy, it should have made more money. You know, like Avengers Endgame was the culmination of just, you know, 10 years. That made like almost $3 billion. The first Avengers, which teamed up all these Marvel superheroes for the first time, that made $2 billion, and that was a buildup. So why wasn't The Rise of Skywalker able to build up to similarly impressive numbers? That lack of enthusiasm. You know, a lot of people were dreading The Rise of Skywalker rather than looking forward to it. So I think that given the context of everything I've said, The Rise of Skywalker making $1 billion is kind of just okay. Not a flop, but not as successful as it should be given the kind of movie it is. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.